Okay, good morning. It's 9:21, so market will open for regular trading hours in 9 minutes. As I always do, start with the daily chart here. Let's take a peek at what we've got going on here. Certainly, action continues to be very strong, bullish, obviously. Very volatile also, though. This is the NQ, that's the NASDAQ futures, and we're up in no man's land here, so there isn't any clear resistance areas from prior periods that we can look at. But one thing that stands out to me to be aware of is that if you look at yesterday's daily bar, I think that this could be perceived as a range, and that would lead me to be looking for opportunity to sell at the top. And let's just zoom in a little bit more, though. The daily chart's not very clear. Even the 60-minute chart isn't super clear. But here's yesterday's action, and we can see this. This is a 60-minute chart, a huge down bar, and then this bar here that dropped so much, and then we had buying come in. When you have a wick like that means price came down here, buying came in. So the bar started here, dropped all the way down here, and then came all the way up here, which is very unusual. So this entire area here, from this to this, may be looked at as a range, and in which case there'll be nice opportunities to sell at the top and buy at the bottom. But I don't know if that helps me out a lot today. 489, that's 70 points away, 61 points away to the top up here. Also, action has been so strong, it's been pushing through these swing highs, so fading has been dangerous. So that's, on the 60-minute chart, other things that I can look at here that stand out to me, and now I'm going to pull up a 30-minute chart here too. But we have a trend line there that we can look at, so that gives us an opportunity to buy on this trend line here. So let's zoom in a little bit more, get into the 30-minute chart here, which I don't typically use. But here we can see on the 30-minute chart how we've had price coming down to touch that area. We're breaking through yesterday, a swing high from yesterday right now, or at least testing that area. So at the open here, this breakout could fail. Price could come down and test this trend line. That's 22 points away. So there is plenty of opportunity for a short here if that were to happen. Now, let's look at the 15-minute chart. So if action comes down strong at the beginning, I'm going to be aware that I have that trend line right below me, and price will, if it rolls over up here, because we're hitting this prior swing high also, and we're getting far away from this trend line, there's a good probability that price will gravitate to this trend line, and that would be an opportunity to short. However, it makes you a little nervous, makes me a little nervous, as strong as action has been, to be doing any shorting. So I would not be jumping into that short very quick at all. I would wait till most of the movement was probably over, and get short all the way down here somewhere, and try to get 5 to 10 points before it hit the trend line. So this is a 3-minute chart. Now on the ES, that's the S&P 500 futures, we have a little more clarity here on the 60-minute chart, and that's because price is coming up to test the swing high from January 21st, and it's just touched there now. So it would be really nice if the NASDAQ on the 60-minute chart had something else that was similar to that to look at, but we don't. You know, the swing high is all the way up here. It's because these tech stocks right now. But anyway, so I don't have good congruence between the two indexes, which has been fairly common this year, to have these two indexes not corresponding very closely at times to each other. When they do move together, then it's easier to spot. Like, let's say they're both looking very similar. The charts look the same, and we hit a resistance level on one of those indexes, and price starts to roll over really hard. That makes it easier to then short the other index because you kind of have a confirmation from the first index. That's how I like to use the two indexes to trade together. I've looked at economic reports. There's nothing of significance that hasn't come out already today. So I've got 2 minutes here. I'm also another screen. I'm looking even at the 1 minute chart because I'm looking for a potential rollover here for a price to come down. Pardon me, price to come down and test this trend line. So there might be an opportunity to take a short here. And I might get an early indication of that by watching the 1 minute chart. So move that back. I'm also looking at the ES charts. So I have my order screens already preloaded for the number of contracts that I'm going to trade. I'm working still on some of the technical aspects of just sending out a Zoom link. It'll be free and I'll go live. I can't, because of regulatory issues, call out trades live and show my order entry screens and so forth like I've been doing on a lot of these videos. But I think that through my talking through what's going on in price action, that you'll be able to get some very good ideas of where good trade entries will be. But I'm still working on some of the technical aspects of that. Hope to get that link set out this week. Another thing that I'm doing today is I'm trading smaller. Yesterday I made money, but not very much. But more importantly, I almost lost a significant amount of money. And my experience has been when I have a day that's extremely volatile in my trading, there's action opening, that I have to be very careful over the next several days after that, because there's something going on with price action or perhaps with my psychology that isn't right. And so the best way for me to enforce discipline is through my systems. Okay, here we go. So my system says, because I had that volatility in my trading yesterday, that I need to automatically reduce the number of contracts I'm trading the following day until I feel things are right again. So it might be the following day, it might be for several days, we'll see. But extreme volatility. So even if I was trading like I normally do and having success and so forth without any issues, like I had yesterday, I would be trading fewer number of contracts than I normally do. So here we are pulling away from that trend line even more. So conflicting information. And here's a 60-minute chart. Price on a 60-minute chart wants to gravitate to the 13,548 level. But on the smaller charts, you've got the trend line, and we're pulling too far away from that trend line where price is going to probably pull back to it. But then again, you've got the larger chart wanting to suck action upward here. So that's what's going on here right now. And then you've got on the on the ES, it's breaking through. On the 60-minute chart, it's breaking through that prior swing high, or trying to. So I'm just going to be very patient, sit back and watch. See, in a 1-minute chart, you know how action is so fractal. So on a 1-minute chart, there's also a trend line. That's a smaller trend line, and look how action came right down to that trend line and touched it. I mean, it's incredible. Price action works. You don't need indicators. Indicators don't work. That's, you know, I had this trend line drawn in before price came down and touched it. It's phenomenal. Look at this channel over here on the 1-minute chart. Look at that, right? And if price breaks through this trend line, where will it go? It's going to go down, most likely, to the beginning of the trend line. Now, anything could happen. There could be so much volatility on the way down that you can't stay in the trade, right? But that's where it would eventually work its way to, most likely. So, just going to watch here as volatile as action is. I'm going to keep this 1-minute chart up now and the 3-minute chart. See this little area here? That's where the trend line is on the 1-minute chart. Anyway, it's very interesting to watch because you can see there's a bigger trend line way below this trend line. Isn't that interesting? How fractal, there's patterns within patterns within patterns on all the different time frames. So always remember, though, that the larger time frame will generally influence the movement of price action. It'll generally win out. So in other words, there's a decent chance that price is going to come up and test this high on the 60-minute chart eventually. But then we've got this trend line here below us where price is pulling too far away from it on the 3-minute chart. It's already touched on the 1-minute chart, but the 3-minute chart is still pulling further and further away from it's still pulling further and further away on the 3-minute chart from that trend line, giving it more of like a rubber band effect or potentiality to come right back down there. But then again, we've got this swing high up here, and action is very bullish, right? So when action is moving strongly in one direction and there's a trend line or support level that it's moving towards, it will tend to gravitate towards that trend line or support level. So we've got that wanting to pull price away from this trend line here, trying to pull it up to this level here, or maybe to this level here on the left here at the top of that prior channel. Okay. See, I would normally short, but and I still may here. Here we go. Nope, I'm just not. I think it's going to come down here, but just one of these bars, that's 82 to that too much. Look at that. 30 points for one bar. I may get in here. Let's see. I may change my mind.
Order submitted. Order filled.
I'm short at 13,479, and I want to get out quickly with the volatility. I'm also shorting 2/3 of what I normally would, and I'm going to take more off on my first opportunity than I would typically. So I have this trend line below me here. And that's what I'm trading off of. The opportunity to have price gravitate. I'm expecting this intensity, this extreme volatility like this, so I'm trading accordingly. You know, I was down 7.5 points there for a moment, but I'm trading small enough to be comfortable because I expected this sort of stuff. So I'm ready to get out here a couple points if I can with most of my trade.
Order filled.
Okay, nice.
Order filled. Order submitted. Order filled. Order filled.
Okay. Very good. That's a very good trade because of that trend line pulling me down towards it. See that? So we have that strong movement down, and we've got a clear area. It's very clear. It's highly likely that price is going to come down and test that area. So the bears are going to keep selling because it's so clear. They're going to keep selling. The bulls also, maybe even more importantly, they're going to step aside because they see this trend line here. And they're just going to get out of the way, and they're not going to buy until price comes down here. So oftentimes it isn't so much that there's so many, in this situation, bears that are stepping in to sell. It's just that there are no bulls that are buying because they're not going to buy right here. They're not going to buy here. Here they're going to wait till price comes down and gets close to that trend line. Then they're going to step in. And that's just what happened. Now price may break through here. I don't know, but I'll watch carefully here. If I take a trade, it'll be very small. And so let's see here. This intense volatility. We've moved from 60 to 50 points from the high here to here, and we're talking in 9 minutes. So that's very large potential loss. When you have action, you've got to adjust the number of contracts you're trading based upon the volatility of action. And there may be weeks or months where you don't have to, but then you may go through a period of time like we have been here recently where action becomes so dangerous. If you make a mistake, you're going to just lose a lot of money. And another thing though that can happen is because of the volatility is that you're trading too big and you just can't handle the drawdown in the middle of your trade. And so you have to exit your trade at a loss when it ends up going in the right direction. So, that trade, so yeah, I sold at 13,479. 13,479. Right. I got to pay attention here. It looks like there might be an opportunity, but I think I'm going to stand aside there. It's probably an opportunity to buy. There's a 60-minute chart. On the 60-minute chart, you can see there is no clarity on the break of any trend line on the 60-minute chart. Breakouts usually fail. There's probably going to be buyers stepping in here and fading this. There you go. There you go. I'll go over the points that I got on each of my contracts that I traded there in a moment here. We'll see. It's probably an opportunity to buy here. I could even just do a very tiny swing trade. But why? This bar here is right now a range bar. So we have a double top up here. This is on a 3-minute chart. Whenever you see a double top, oftentimes that can be significant. And maybe this is it. Maybe this is a move down. However, with that double top up here, and this battle going on trying to break this trend line, I'm just going to stand aside here and just watch. And if I take a trade, it's going to be literally, you know, let's see. It's going to be 5%, 7% of what my maximum trade is. That's it. And it would be a swing trade probably. By swing trade too, you know, I could be up 20 points in less than a minute, and I would probably take that. So I guess in terms of the description of the trade, it would be a trade that I would be shooting for, you know, at least 10 points on. And that could happen very quickly. I think the probability is this is a good spot to buy. Breakouts usually fail. So but am I willing to bet money on that? No, I don't think so. I've had a nice day. I've had my day. So I sold at 13,479. I took a significant percentage off. We're talking 75% of my trade off with 4 points is all. And I took some more off at 4.25 points. Then I took more off at 9 points, and then 6.75 points for the final amount. Look at that, huh? Crazy. Crazy. Even trading at 5% of my normal size, I don't want to do it because look at this one bar, 72.35. Look at that, that's a 10-point pullback right there. I'm not here to gamble. Not here to gamble. It doesn't mean I may not jump in here for a quick scalp or something, but but look at that. Look at that. Right here, you're at 34. We're talking, yeah, 14, 13, 15-point pullbacks there. You know, this is intense action. I want to probably stop here pretty soon and just go back to my nice calm currencies, which, you know, I made a post on that. You know, this summer, my son is going to be trading currencies all summer long. He's going to be trading $10,000 lots. He's going to be putting OCO orders on, walking away. These trades are going to go from 1 day to probably 4 days, 5 days in length. And they're calm, very little risk. And he's going to be able to scale. So he's taking his lawn mowing money, and that's what he's going to be doing. And, you know, it's so much slower and potentially easier. Okay, I still could take a short here. We'll see.
Order submitted. Order
I'm going to
filled.
take a short. And another thing, so I'm short at 13,434. I'll get stopped out here. He's going to come back and whiplash me. You can almost guarantee it. 434. So I'd like to put my stop loss at break even, but there's so much volatility. So I'm looking for price to come down, at least test this pivot point. My gosh, that's 30 points away. But I don't know. I could get chicken out. It's such a tiny trade that I could be down 30 points and it wouldn't be a big deal. I wouldn't be happy, but I'm short at 13,434. See if we could get through this area here. The reason I did that is I looked at this as a break of the trend line, a test on that prior 3-minute bar, test of that break, and now continued potential follow through. When a trend line is broken, action will likely go to the beginning of the trend line. Now, even trading as tiny as I am, I could still get shaken out of this trade. Look, I'm down 16 points. Look at that. But I'm trading so small, it doesn't affect me. Doesn't affect me. I can stay with this. Okay. If anything, I'm looking to add up here now.
Order filled.
So I added, and I'm maxed out on my trade now. And it's still a little tiny trade. my average now is 13.44150. 13.44150 here. I'll put in a little thing, and this is kind of a swing trade. 13.44150. So that's my average price right there. So I've got to break through this level, this little swing low here. Got to get to this pivot level. Eventually, price will get here. Hopefully, we'll see. So it's just a matter of, do I want to stick with it, you know? So sit and watch here. $13.441 is my short. And if I don't like, if it's taking too long and I'm up a point or something, I could easily just get out. But once again, the trade is very tiny, so I can handle huge pullbacks without any issue. I'm just going to watch. So just to show you too what's going on the 1 minute chart, action broke that littler channel, that smaller channel, and then came down and broke through to then break through the larger channel. But more importantly, what I like to see here is action is channeling up. A channel is a weak trend. So I'm happy to see a channel up rather than a strong trend up on this pullback that we're getting right now. So big pullback.
Order
I
filled.
just added, so now my average price is 13.445. 13.445 right there. And I just might get out of here while the getting's good here. If I can make a point or two, whatever.
Order submitted. Order filled.
All right, this last portion I'm up 11 points. That's quite nice. 13.453 is my average price on this portion.
Order submitted. Order filled.
That's great. That ended up nice. So ended up okay. So when you have this kind of volatility, you got to really be tuned into what's going on, because when you're looking at your screen, everything can be proportional, so you kind of fall asleep at the wheel and you aren't cognizant of the extreme volatility sometimes. you're not looking at these bars and saying, oh, this bar as the high was 508, the low was 462. What is that? That's my gosh, 40, 50 points for one little 5-minute bar. Okay, so it's okay to trade that type of stuff as long as you have the ability to trade small enough relative to your normal trading and your account size to weather that crazy volatility. Because imagine if I had got into this short with, if I had got into that with my normal number of contracts, I'm down 15 points, instead of being, all smiles and relaxed, it'd have been awful. But I recognize the intense volatility we have going on here. And I also was confident enough in the trade to, fade to add, more onto my trade as price pulled back away from my initial entry. But you have to be very, very careful with that also, because you can wipe yourself out, if you are adding into a losing trade. You have to be very careful with that, and I would not recommend doing that if you are not profitable. So you want to be taking that trade like the first one I took in the morning, and then it's a lot with much more clarity. So I'm going to move this back over here, and I think I'm probably done, and I'm going to, with this volatility, it's just, I don't know, I want to mess with this. Probably a good spot to buy on a swing trade here, but you're going to have a big stop loss. But anyway, I think I'm just going to wrap that up. It's been a good morning for me, and I think I've safely entered the lion's den twice here this morning, and I'm not going to push my luck, not with this extreme action going on. So I'll conclude this video, and like I said, I'm sending out a live Zoom link, so I'll be trading live. If you're interested, there's no hitch, nothing. I'm doing it as a way to hold myself very accountable. To be doing this live, I think it's going to be intense. I think it's going to be really good for me. Just recording these broadcasts like this and posting them has been extremely helpful to me, and I highly recommend, if you're learning to trade, that you record yourself. So like this morning, when I'm done here going through all my currency charts and so forth, I'm going to go back. I like to go back and look at certain videos that I shoot to review, last week's action and so forth. It's very helpful to me. So anyway, have a great day. Oh, yeah, send me a link. Send me your email address if you want to get in on that free morning live link that I'll send out. I can't give trading advice. Can't tell you what my entries are going to be, but I can narrate what's going on to the point that I think you will be enlightened as to what's going on and be able to spot your own trade entries just by listening to me narrate what's going on. Thank you.